Hello, my lovely little humans. It has been a while since I sat down and actually recorded a video in front of my bookcase, but I thought that I should really get back into the swing of trying to sit down and record a video at least once a week that wasn't a vlog, or at least a weekly vlog. So yeah, today I'm here with you to chat through my June TBR, which I cannot believe it is June. Where has the time gone? I have no idea. It is crazy. It's already the 4th of June, so I am a little late, but it is what it is. And yeah, we are gonna chat through one, two, three, four, five. I've got five on my TBR. So typically I manage to read like 4 to 5 books a month, I would say. It used to be a lot more. It used to be more like 8 or 9 a month, but having a small human, that's just not possible anymore. So these are my picks. It is a little bit of a wild one. There is a book club pick in here. There is the book that I'm currently reading. And then there is one that I'm in the mood for. And then there's two that I actually used Storygraph's like generator suggestion thing. I took a little video this morning, so I'll insert that on screen so you can see like what I mean. But basically at the start of the year I took it upon myself to literally add every single book that I own onto a like digital TBR list because one, I was going to shops and going, oh, I really fancy that, but do I own that? And I know that's an issue because this is just one part of the books. I've also got like another case in here, there's one in the hall, there's one upstairs in my bedroom. So yeah, I just wanted it all somewhere. I wanted to be able to like quantify how many books that I did have and like try and rein in the purchasing of books, but so far that's not going that great. But anyway, so I used their like random generator to pick a couple reads that I thought I probably wouldn't have gotten to, or I would have bumped it further down my TBR unless I used it. So yeah, I suppose we can jump right in. Okay, so the first book is Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. This is my book club pick for Argonauts bookshop in Edinburgh. They're horror book club, so this is the choice for this month. It's a debut by Jessica Johns. I've never heard of her, and quite rightly so. It says a haunting debut novel where dreams, family, and spirits collide. Night after night, Mackenzie, a young Cree woman living in Vancouver, has dreams that return her to a memory from before her sister Sabrina's untimely death. But when the waking world starts closing in too, crows stalk her every move around the city. She gets threatening text messages from someone claiming to be Sabrina. Mackenzie knows this is more than she can handle alone. Desperate for help, she returns to her mother, sister, cousin, and aunties in the small Alberta hometown. Together, they try to uncover what is haunting Mackenzie before it is too late. It sounds great. I probably wouldn't have picked it up myself, purely just because how do you pick? How do you pick? So that's why I love a book club, because it kind of expands my reading a little bit more, especially with the horror genre, because there is so much that I enjoy in the horror genre, but I can be put off. I can be quite intimidated by quite a lot of horror. So it's just a little guy. So I need to read this for the end of the month. So this will probably be like one of the last books I read during June. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm dying to get stuck into some horror. After going to my book club last month for the first time, I was like, oh my god, I've not read horror in ages, and yeah, I'm just dying to get stuck into some of it. So that was my book club pick for this one. I suppose on the same sort of line, This has been on my TBR since it was released. I didn't particularly like the original cover, so I literally hunted vintage for ages for this cover, and I was lucky enough to absolutely get a steal. I think it was only like £15 or something, which I'll take. So the next one on my TBR is The Lamb by Lucy Rose with this gorgeous cover. It looks like lamb, which really appeals to my like look at it. It's just so cool. So yeah, this book is hyped. It's everywhere. Everyone has loads to say about it. Honestly, I don't really know much about it apart from the fact that it's like cannibalism. That's all I really know. So yeah, my mum read this. She wasn't that bowled over, but she is like a prolific horror reader. So yeah, I'll give it a bash and see what I think. One of my friends, Laura, she read this and she absolutely devoured it, gave it 5 stars. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this one is like. I typically do like to go into my books pretty blind. So even though I maybe read the blurb out to you guys, like there isn't much more that I do in terms of like looking into it. So all this says is a folk tale, a horror story, a love story, an enchantment. Margot and Mama have lived by the forest since Margot can remember. When Margot isn't at school, they spend quiet days together in their cottage, waiting for strangers to knock on their door. Strays, Mama calls them. Mama loves the strays. She feeds them wine, keeps them warm, and then she satisfies her burning appetite by picking apart their bodies. But Mama's wants is stronger than her hunger sometimes. And when a white-toothed stray named Eden turns up in the heart of a snowstorm, little Margot must confront the shifting dynamics of her family, untangle her own desires, and make a bid for freedom. In this tender coming-of-age tale, debut novelist Lucy Rose explores how women swallow their anger, desire, and animal instincts, and brings the relationship between mother and daughter until blood drips from it. That's actually the first time I've read the back of this. I've seen so many reviews of this that people give it 5 stars, that this has hit like their favourite books of all time. So, like I was saying, I'm dying to sink my teeth into some horror at the moment. So, this is maybe my next read, I think. But yeah, I am dying to get to this one. So, that's book 2. I suppose I should chat about the book that I'm currently reading. So I'm currently reading Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh, which is book 5 in the Boys of Tomnin series. And yeah, this series is everywhere at the moment. The most recent book releasing 10 has just been released last week, which I did purchase. I read book, is this book 5? No, it's not. It's book 4. So I read book 3 last month, and then I've went straight into this one, and yeah, this series is heartbreaking to say the least. It's phenomenal. I genuinely think that her writing is so addictive. I cannot put it down. I think I'm only a little bit into it, to be fair, at the moment. Probably like 100 pages, just because life has been lifing. But when I'm reading it, I'm having to like physically force myself to put it down, which for me is a massive, massive thing. Books 1 and 2, they follow Shannon and Johnny. This one and book 3 follow Joey and Aoife, and then book 5 follows Claire and Gibbsy, and then book 6 that has just been released follows Lizzie and Huey, and they're just heartbreaking. I don't really want to give too much, but do not jump into this series if you haven't looked at the trigger warnings first. There is a lot of abuse, a lot of violence, very graphic, bullying, self harm, like addiction, suicide, like everything is in these books. They pull a punch. So if you're going to pick these up, definitely look at the trigger warnings first and go in with your eyes wide open, because they are a hard read. They're phenomenal, but they are a hard read. So I would, yeah, just do that if you're going to pick these up. But yeah, this is my current read at the moment. So yeah, it's a chunky old boy. I'm really loving it so far. So that's that one. So the next two are the two picks that I got through Storygraph. So like I say, I clicked my little suggestion button through my TBR pile, and these are the two that they generated for me. Okay, so the first one is Collide by Bal Cabara. I've got this gorgeous sprayed edge edition. I think I got this at the Works. I've had this on my TBR for a while now, and as far as I'm aware, I don't actually really know that much about it, apart from the fact that I think it's a sports romance. And that's really all I know. Oh, so it looks like there's a big sticker on the back of this, which is so annoying. Let me see if I can get that off. Oh, it does. It comes off pretty easily. Right. So it says, when Summer Preston's professor issues her with an ultimatum, she finds herself on an unexpected collision course with hockey captain Aidan Crawford. So yeah, I was right, it is a sports romance. Summer hates everything about hockey for good reason, but she isn't going to let that stand in the way of her becoming a sports psychologist. Aidan loves being the hockey captain, except when his team's reckless mistakes risk jeopardising their entire season. When coach puts him forward for a research paper as punishment, he has no choice but to accept. Summer can't stand his blasé approach to life, and Aidan doesn't get her uptight scheduled one. But they're off to a rocky start, and provoking each other, it turns out, is what they do best. As sparks fly, neither wants to be the one to give in. Can they get everything they want, including each other? So yeah, like there's a few reader reviews on the back. Spice levels won't disappoint. Really looking forward to the rest of her book. So I wonder if this is maybe a debut. But yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be quite spicy. I like spice in my books, but there has to be a level. I like plot behind it. I do enjoy it, but if it's too much, I'm a bit like, this is getting a bit boring. So we'll give this a bash, and we'll see how we get on. And then the final book of this video and my TBR, which has been on my TBR for years at this point, is, I say years, when was it released? Last year. So I've had it on my TBR for a year, but it feels like longer, is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. This has been on my TBR since it was released. I actually own 2 copies of this. I own this edition and then the original edition. I got this one on Vinted because I loved it. I actually prefer it to the original. So yeah, again, I don't know a huge amount of this, but I know it is vampires. And let me have a little look. I don't even know if there is a blurb on this one. Let me grab the other one to see if that's got a blurb on it. Okay. So Arthur Kazmaier is a criminal mastermind and a collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into a illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when the tea room and its secrets come under threat, Arthur must lead a gang of outcasts in a high-stake heist to the sinister vampire underworld. But even as expected romances bloom, Arthur realises that not everyone in her ragtag crew is on her side, and she soon finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. A dark, action-packed and swoon-worthy A Tempest of Tea is teeming with romance and revenge, led by an orphan girl willing to do whatever it takes to save her self-made kingdom. So yeah, like, I think it sounds really good. I love a vampire. I do. I love a vampire. So yeah, that is my TBR for this month. I think there's some really good picks in here, and I'm quite excited. Now, typically, as we know, I am a mood reader, like self-confessed, like full mood reader, and I have zero complaints about that. So even though I am doing TBRs, they're very loose. I do try and go where the mood takes us, but I do like to have some sort of direction, and I think they just look what a great pick. I'm actually delighted about this. So, yeah, we will give this a bash and see how we get on. I think that this and this, these two, I think these two will be 5 stars for me. I think this one will be a 4 star. I think maybe this is a 3.5 and maybe a 3. That's just my thoughts. I'll be interested to see what they actually come out as being. But yeah, that's where I think that they will sit at the moment. And yeah, that is my TBR for June. So please drop me a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought. Were they good, like 5 stars for you? Were they DNFs? Like, I want to know the tea. Like, let me know in the comments. I want to know all your thoughts. If you've read any of them, what were your thoughts? If you think I will like them. And yeah, I will, as always, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We would love to have you here in my little corner of the internet, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.